Hi, and welcome to AI Today, where we bring you all the latest news and biggest industry stories from the world of AI. Today, I'm joined by Toby Sinclair. Toby has been pioneering an innovative AI powered learning platform designed to help business leaders practice and master difficult workplace conversations. We'll explore how Real Talk Studio is addressing a critical workplace challenge, the fact that 70% of employees avoid difficult conversations, and we'll also get Toby's opinions on other ways in which Gen AI can help with everyday business transactions. Welcome to the channel, Toby. Really great to see you here. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and your business, Real Talk Studio.
Hey, Luke. Yeah, nice to meet you. Real Talk Studio, I say we're in the business of hard conversations. So we focus on helping people build confidence and clarity for their most crucial conversations. We do that through AI video role plays. So basically creating a safe space for people to practice with realistic scenarios. So like I said, they can build that confidence for difficult conversations rather than avoiding them. And as you said, a lot of people avoid these conversations, which doesn't always lead to great outcomes for the employees or the company where they work. My fascination for this comes from two areas. One, from a personal side, is I'm a people pleaser. So I find like difficult conversations really challenging. I tend to avoid them, sugarcoat them, especially when giving feedback. I tend to, just use too many pillows. And then the second thing is just the technology. AI video avatars in particular is a technology that has advanced so much over the last 6 to 12 months. So I'm really fascinated by the implications of that and how it can be used, in our case, helping people build confidence for crucial conversations. But the number of use cases, which I'm sure we'll touch on today, is just crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine, and I've had to play around with the technology itself. It's really good actually. It's very intuitive, and you sort of almost forget that you're talking to an AI
Yeah.
at one point. It's very realistic. Can you just delve into some of the specific enterprise challenges that you've seen the technology sort of effectively address?
Yeah, so there's a couple really. So one is managers. So I can't remember the stat, but many managers are accidental managers, which means they've not necessarily had formal training or have been promoted into a management position based upon their technical skill. And what we find for a lot of our managers is when they start managing for the first time, there's a degree of excitement, but then often the reality of management kind of hits. And it's, oh, now I'm just like faced with many, many challenging conversations. You have to tell people they're not going to be promoted, discussions around pay, interpersonal conflict between team members. So these conversations are really hard. You can buy the books, go on the courses, but the reality is, again, a lot of these are practical skills that are hard just to learn in theory. So a lot of it just comes through practice. The challenge is that in a corporate setting, getting high quality practice is also difficult. Practicing with an employee can sometimes feel awkward. When you ask for feedback, often a lot of people are people pleasers like me. So they'll tend to say, oh, yeah, great job, Toby. Yeah. Even though they're really thinking that wasn't great, but people find it hard to do that. So, yeah, that's like one really common one across a number of organizations, is just the challenge for like first time managers. Doesn't go away the more experienced you come, because sometimes the conversations just change, can become even more high stakes. And then beyond that, other things like sales training, where you want to be as effective as you can in terms of winning deals and clients and stuff.
That makes complete sense. Okay, moving on then. I think this idea of, like I said, using AI to develop a more human communication style is really interesting. I noticed that the platform analyzes communication style and emotional intelligence. Do you have any insights about leadership communication patterns that have surprised or intrigued you from the data that you've collected so far?
Yeah, I think the first one isn't a surprise, but like a reinforcement, is avoidance. So one of the scenarios we have a number of the scenarios that users create on the platform, because again, all of our scenarios are custom. It's not based upon a catalog. You can create your own, is around feedback. And one of the patterns that is often seen is avoidance of feedback. So in some of the scenarios, we make it more difficult in that we make the avatar resistance to feedback. So if you ask, say, for example, you start the conversation and say, Luke, I've got some feedback I want to share with you. Is now a good time? The avatar would say, well, no, it's not a good time, actually. So then it's like, oh, okay, what do I do? And often users will just say, okay, we'll come back to it later, rather than maybe taking the approach of like, oh, well, this is quite important and we need to carve out some time either now or today to have that. So a lot of users, again, reinforces that idea of avoidance is a very common pattern. I think the other surprising thing is, I think with some of the skills you would assume are not easily accessible by AI, things like empathy. So we're actually seeing that users are able to practice empathy with the tool, which wasn't expected. And I think what's interesting there, which there's a sort of thing that our users have to do as part of creating the role plays is be clear on what are the skills that you want to observe and assess. Because we're using an AI tool to assess those skills, it means that you have to be a bit more specific around what is empathy. When you deliver that in a classroom training, sometimes you fall into that trap of saying we need to be more, or all our leaders in the organization need to be more empathetic. Everyone leaves with different understandings of what empathy means. So with the platform, the users are having to define what do we mean by empathy. And you can describe it in things like they reflect back their understanding, they summarize, they acknowledge, which encourages users to be a bit more specific around what those skills look like and being more aware of it, really. So that's kind of like a byproduct of the platform that wasn't intentional, but it is leading people to be more specific around the skills that they want to observe and give feedback on.
Okay. And that's really interesting. And thinking about the future, how do you see Gen AI evolving to support potentially more complex workplace dynamics, maybe not just one-on-one, but team conflicts, cross-communal, cross-cultural communication challenges, that sort of thing? And is it something that you've thought about for Real Talk Studio?
Yeah, so there's a couple of angles to this. So one, AI video I'm really excited about. In particular, AI video interactive avatars. So at the moment, there are a number of products on the market that offer pre-recorded avatars where they've given a script and they just read it out. Quite common in courses, L&D, where you just have an avatar delivering the content rather than a person. Personally, for me, I don't think they're great because, again, it doesn't solve the problem. It's still knowledge in. You sit, you listen, you learn it. Not a great way to learn. What I am excited about is AI video avatars that are interactive. So all of our AI video avatars are real-time conversations, low latency. And that is a much more active, engaging learning experience where it can be more of a pick your own adventure. So rather than start with, here's the prerequisite course, you start off with, tell me, Luke, what do you want to learn? You share, and it's a much more interactive, engaging conversation. So that, I believe, is going to be a big part. Obviously, organizations at the moment are just getting their heads around text chat. I believe in the future, so much of the interface will be through AI video interactive avatars. And I feel like there's going to be a moment 18 months, 2 years from now, where suddenly there's a big switch. And I think just as avatars become more expressive, emotional, it's going to unlock new opportunities. I had a conversation with someone. I have too many ideas, but this thing around like practicing stand-up comedy has been an example where you could practice your stand-up comedy with an avatar. Problem at the moment is the avatars aren't hugely expressive. So I don't know if you've seen like an avatar laugh, but it's a bit weird. So at the moment, it's not great for some of those situations where you require a bit more of an emotional breadth. But yeah, I think in terms of where the AI industry is going, really excited about where AI video in particular is going to go.
Okay, this brings me to kind of like my last question and the sort of conclusion of what I wanted to ask you, and this is just a more broad question, really. Just looking ahead, let's say I was going to say 3 to 5 years, but the market develops so quickly. Let's
Yeah.
just say 1 to 2 years. What innovative applications of generative AI in the workplace do you believe will potentially transform how organizations develop their talent?
Yeah, so I have a very strong belief that the training and learning space is going to be dramatically disrupted over the next couple of years. A lot of people are reaching for solutions at the moment which are based upon the existing paradigm mental models. So like I said, at the moment, a lot of L&D leaders are reaching for creating pre-recorded avatars that just read a script. And that makes sense because it saves them cost and time to deliver training. But it's a narrow view because they're just basically recreating the existing paradigm. I think where learning is going to transform is rather than be pre-scripted, pre-recorded training, we're going to move much more to this pick your own adventure, personalized tutors, where at the start of the training, you turn up, the avatar says, "Hey, Luke, great to meet you. Today, we're going to be exploring conflict. Where would you like to start?" And then you have a back and forth real-time conversation where the training is customized and tailored to exactly what you're looking for. And it's an engaging, dynamic situation. And this has been a problem that educators more broadly have been trying to solve for a very long time. Research shows that one-to-one learning leads to better learner outcomes. The problem is it's always been very difficult to do and very costly. Now we're basically introducing this idea that everyone can have interactive, lifelike tutors that allow them to pick their own adventure, learn how they want in the style, the speed they want. I think that is where it's going to go. Most L&D professionals at the moment are not there, but I believe there's going to be a big shift in how we train. That's going to basically transform and move away from this knowledge acquisition where we sit in a room and listen for however long, much more to real-time interactive learning.
Okay. In the next couple of years, potentially.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Because I think learners as well, from a learner perspective, people are kind of fed up of being in courses and programs that just don't deliver the results. And it's also even harder now if you're at home and you're on a training course all day on Zoom for 6 hours and you're just passively listening and learning, it's really hard, right? So I think learners are also looking for new ways to learn that are more engaging, especially attention spans are reducing. So people are looking for more quicker, more engaging ways to learn. So I think, and on the flip side, you've got businesses are also finding that despite their investment in learning and development, they're not getting a return. So both sides of the coin, people are, I think, open and receptive to a new solution. It's just at the moment, probably the pieces of the puzzle haven't fully come together to have that like sort of transformational moment. But I think it's going to happen.
Makes sense, and something that we'll see in the coming years, or coming months, as it may be. That's really all I wanted to ask you today, Toby. It's been really, really interesting, and it's an application of Gen AI that I haven't spoke to anybody else about. So it's a unique business that's on my radar. So we'll certainly follow Real Talk Studio with interest. I just wanted to thank you again and say to all our viewers, please do join the conversation on our social communities, LinkedIn, Reddit, and stay up to date on all the latest AI developments. Thanks then, Tony. We'll say goodbye and take care.
Yeah, cheers, Luke.